Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. Welcome once again to the Student Orientation Week for the second semester of 2024. Welcome to day 3 as well. Thank you for joining us, and just to run over a few items as usual. You will notice that your mics and videos are turned off, and we are requesting that you make use of the chat box to post your questions there. Colleagues will be able to respond to those. Just please do limit your questions to the presentation session or issues and topics arising from the presentation in the meeting. We will you will also be able to access all the other recordings, so do not worry. This and all the recordings for the entire Student Orientation Week, all 25 of them, will be accessible to you on the same YouTube links that you have in the schedule. Where you got the link to join this session, next to that link, there's a YouTube link that you can use to go back for sessions that you have missed since Monday and be able to review the discussions in those particular sessions. So you're most welcome, and we appreciate that you are taking the student orientation sessions very seriously. As a first-year student, it is absolutely important that you participate in all of the sessions, because these sessions are meant to help you to navigate this new environment that you are finding yourself in. All right, so we are going to start, and the first presentation of the day is from Ndate Rapela. And he is going to be presenting to us about cybersecurity matters. Absolutely important topic, but let me give him the opportunity to come to the platform and share more. So if you are ready, you can take the platform. I see you are. You can unmute yourself and go for it. Thank you very much.
Slide. Chair, can you see my slides?
We can see your slides. We can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning, colleagues. I will take you through the presentation for cybersecurity, and I've also included MFA because we have realized that there are some issues that students are experiencing when it comes to MFA. So maybe just to break the ice, I just want to speak to you about why criminals target the higher education industry. And it is because of the amount of personal information that we are processing. And this personal information is purely student personal information. For that, the criminal, they see that as a crown jewel. So they really target us for that particular information. The next one is financial gain. So they target higher education for financial gain. I think those who have been following what is happening in a higher education, you will see that TUT at some stage, about a month or so, they were attacked and they were a request for ransomware. So for that reason, the criminals, cyber criminals, they see higher education as easy targets. Then the other reasons that we see them is because of student loan information. Remember, when you are applying for loan, you give away a lot of personal information, your ID, where you reside, who are your parents, And that information comes very handy to cyber criminal because they can later on use it for conducting criminal activities. The other one is the actual nature of the business of a higher education. A higher education is based on a culture of openness. I mean, you've got lectures that communicate with you student, and you student trust lecturers because you see them as your mentor, and the kind of the relationship lecturer student is in a manner that is open, and the criminal knows that. They know that if they come in and do social engineering because of the nature of business we are running, which is based on trust, immediately they come in, they pretend as if they are lecturers, or they pretend as if they can help you with the assignment already because of the environment you're operating on, which is based on trust. You trust them, and you start giving them information, and they start using your information for other things other than what they've requested the information for. Then there is research. Some of them are targeting the higher education for the amount of research they are doing. I'm not quite sure, Mr. Rachidi, if we do have students in this platform who are doing postgrad. So if they are doing research, that from the criminal point of view, they also want to access those research. And the other things that doesn't really affect the student that much is the cyber criminals. They know that most of organizations are running legacy systems. Basically, they are running systems that are old and software that are old. And those software, they've got vulnerabilities, known vulnerabilities. Some of those vulnerabilities, you can't close them because there is a new version. But most of universities are still sitting on legacy system. So, and the last one, which I want to touch on, is really lack of adequate cybersecurity control, because we are running legacy systems that cannot respond to new controls, cybersecurity controls. You end up the higher education, they end up exposing themselves. So I'm just sharing with you these reasons so that you understand when we go to the next slide. So on these slides, what I wanted to tell you is, please be aware. And this is not just when you are conducting the business of UNISA as a student, even in your private life, just be aware that the cyber crooks are online daily, monitoring and looking for victims to attack. And they do this they use various strategies. One strategy that they use is social engineering. The other one is malware, which they can put in a software on your machine, on your cell phone, as you are surfing the net. You click on a particular site and it run a script and install that script on your computer and start passing information to the cyber criminals. The other one is distributed denial of services. Probably you will see this thing happening. That's some of the strategy they use, but it's not going to really affect you. This is for us to act on it. And sometimes they use a technique we call man-in-the-middle attack. So as you are phoning or as you are transacting between you and UNISA, or between you and the bank, they are basically in the middle, listening to the keystrokes and taking anything, capturing your password, capturing your authentication information. So those are the techniques that they normally use. But what I really want to focus on is what the upcut.com says. That they say the biggest threat to higher education sector is social engineering, is phishing, and is ransomware attack. Ransomware attack, it doesn't really affect you that much, but I just want to I'll zoom into it so that I take you through how the cyber criminal gain access to the organization. In most cases, which we have experienced, which we have seen here at UNISA, ever since they asked me to look after the digital security, we found that the majority of the compromise we are seeing is at student level. And that is why we felt, myself and Mr. Rachid, we felt that we need to start running this awareness. So as I said, ransomware is not really so much affecting you, but I just want to take you through few things that you can be aware of. One, ransomware is a type of malicious software that threatens to publish or block access. The main technique they use is, once they've gained access, they encrypt the data for the organization. So they will encrypt the data for UNISA, and then if you are about to write an exam, then you can't write the exam. If UNISA wants it, they can't, because they've taken over and they want money. But the reason why I'm putting this here is, how do they gain access? Or how do they how do they gain access? Often they spread through phishing emails that contain malicious attack, or through driven by downloads. So you go to a website, you download something, you come, you connect to the UNISA system, and they use that path to start uploading their malware and start upgrading their access based on that. So like I'm saying, this is not so much from the student front, but an organization can be compromised from a student. But when it comes to ransomware attack, it's not so much. We haven't seen much coming from student devices. But the reason why I'm bringing it in here is it can come through student devices. And how do you now protect something like that, ransomware? You enable a multi-factor authentication, which is what we call MFA. And then you can prevent initial infiltration of data. And that can be done by protecting the endpoint devices. The endpoint device, it could be your cell phone, it could be the computer that you use to connect to UNISA. And that is why you see the last point I'm talking about, you arm your endpoints, because we in security terms, we are saying criminals don't crack into the organization. They log into the organization. Basically, what they do is they look at who they can hack, and they hack that person. Once they hack that person, they are in an environment, and they start running technique to uplift their access rights. If they succeed, they started doing that throughout the system quietly, until they've got enough access to cause a damage. Then the second part, remember I said that there are three key attacks that normally happen in higher education. I said it's ransomware, phishing attack, and social engineering. So the next one I want to talk about, this colleagues, is a big problem. It's not just to students only, even to the staff. It's a big problem, and the cyber criminal likes it, because they use it's even me sometimes I get caught up with this. There are so many of these deceptive email to trick you into clicking a malicious link. You know, there are so many deceptive email that comes in and request you to enter sensitive information. For an example, they might send you an information about UNISA, saying, you know what, we want to update your student number and your cell phone number on the UNISA database. Please complete this. And if you do that, you find that thing is not originating from UNISA, but they've just sent it to you. In most cases, they might send it to your Gmail account, or they might send it to your UNISA email that we have given you. And if you start giving away that information, it goes to that link, they take it, and they've got it. So another one is they could actually, what we have seen is they run application. You've got an application or a pop-up on your computer, on your phone, you click it, and then it run application, and then it started collecting information from your device. So the question is now, how do you protect against phishing attack? Okay, you can see here I've highlighted activation of multi-factor authentication, because that's what we have seen, and we have seen a reduction in this attack to our students. Most of our students were during the course of last year, before we activate multi-factor authentication, they will complain that I did not get the data. Because what the university is doing giving students data on monthly basis, and the cyber criminal now knows that, and they target you for that data. Some of them, they targeted for that data. We've got a number of students that were hacked, and when we provide data goes to those the cyber criminals. And when students contact them, they'll say, "Yeah, I've got your data. If you want your data, please give me this X amount of money." You see, ever since we activated the multi-factor authentication, it has actually reduced those attacks. So you'll see, and that is why I'm highlighting the multi-factor authentication, because I know we have activated it, but we know that security, the implementation of security controls can be inconvenient. So this multi-factor authentication, we do know that it has also inconvenienced some of our students, but it's a control that we had to, looking at the risk and the benefits and the inconvenience, we had to go this route, because we were losing, most of students were losing data. UNISA's reputation was going down the drain. And wherever we go as ICT, we were being asked question, what are you doing? We've got a lot of students that are complaining. We've got a lot of data that is being breached. What are you doing? And when we do the assessment, we felt that if we activate the multi-factor authentication, we will eliminate a lot of these data breaches that we are seeing, and this hacking as well that we are seeing. We felt that will be a control that will start saving us a day. So the other one is an old one, which we said you can is to change your password regularly. These colleagues help if you have been hacked and you are not aware. So if you change your password, you might now start blocking the threat actor. And then the other one which you've got here is avoid email from unknown senders. The banks always, if you've got a bank account, they will always tell you that will not ask you to upload this type of information, like will not ask you to capture your bank account, those kind of things. So what I'm trying to say here is avoid email from unknown senders. You know, my philosophy on these things, I know who I'm communicating to. So any emails that come to my account and I've never got interaction with these people, I just delete them. I know now I'm getting a lot of emails from courier companies which are saying my parcel are waiting to be cleared at customs, but I've never bought any parcels, so I just delete those ones. Or you have your cousin in UK has left this money for you. I don't have a cousin in UK, so I just delete the email. So yeah, so those suspicious emails, just delete them. Don't try and be clever around them. They'll catch up with you. Don't click links or download attachments. Unsubscribe from unwanted email lists. Use strong passwords. This one, colleagues, it's not just a problem with students, even with our staff. We encourage them to use strong passwords. You'll see that when threat actors attack, they use brute force. We have here at UNISA, we have implemented a information security center. You look at the attack for the brute force, is the numbers. When you look at the statistics, brute force attack is the second highest. The first one is the identity attack. The second one is brute force, which they are related. Brute force is really a technique of guessing a password. So, and this sometimes the attackers, they use a dictionary. A dictionary, they are known password that people are using. Password 1, password 2, bad days. So the attacker captured those in what they call a dictionary, and they upload it and start guessing the password. So if you are using a very simple password, they will pick you up very quickly. But we realize that password is not the alpha and omega, because technology has moved on. People are writing programs with multiple permutation that to guess a password, and eventually, if they've got the whole month to do that, eventually they might get it correct. But we are saying if you are using strong password, it will take them time to crack your user ID or your credentials. Avoid sharing personal information. Colleagues, this one it's a problem. Personal information and sensitive information. Personal information and sensitive information here, I'm talking about mainly if you look at when you are conducting the business with UNISA. Your sensitive information, if your student number, your cell phone number, because that's what we use mainly to authenticate, for you to authenticate whenever you want to do business with UNISA. Those are the key things. But do not underestimate, or do not also give people your ID number, your physical address, those kind of things. Please avoid doing the courses you are doing. So if you go to any collaboration site, Telegram, WhatsApp, and they start asking you about student number, they start asking you about the courses you are doing, please flag those ones as a red flag. Please flag those ones as red flag. UNISA wouldn't go to Telegram and start asking you about your student number, about the courses. When you start giving that kind of information in platform like those ones which are not owned by UNISA, you need to do it very carefully, and you need to start to ask yourself serious question. You might be compromising yourself. For me, I always say, if someone start asking me about my ID number, about my bank account, about my credit card number, then I need to just step back and play delaying tactic, because it could be social engineering, which will be the next one which I'll be talking about. But before I talk about social engineering, I just want to talk about the multi-factor authentication. You have seen in those two types of attack, I always keep on saying multi-factor authentication, multi-factor activation of multi-factor authentication, activation of multi-factor authentication, because it had everyone nowadays is using it. So what is multi-factor authentication? Multi-factor authentication is a combination of criteria that needs to be met for a user to gain access to a resource or a computer. So in our case, for you to gain access to any system of UNISA, we have resort to multi-factor authentication. So you will go in, put in your password, and then either on your phone or anywhere where you can authenticate, we will either send you a text or a phone that you must answer for you to gain access. So so a multi-factor authentication, we are using something okay, we don't use something you have, but I think as time goes on, we'll use something you have, but we no, something you are, sorry. We don't use something you are, but as time goes on, we'll start using something you are, meaning biometrics. it could be face recognition, it could be your finger, but currently we are not using that. We just use something you have. So for you to log into our system, you need to know your password, and then you need to have some form of a phone where we can either send you an SMS or a phone, and then you answer that phone, then it verified and give you access. That colleagues has actually help us reduce a number of hacked accounts, attacks that we have been seeing where students have been compromised. We have seen that number coming down, and it's a control, it's a preventative control and a detective control that we're gonna continue implementing, because we have seen that it's really helping us reduce the number of attacks. But we are also cognizant, as we are speaking to various stakeholders that are liaising with students directly, that there is some inconvenience that is causing to the student, and we are happy. We are happy and willing to help our students to reduce that inconvenience. So I was in KZN last week, and I've agreed that we'll have the ICT department will have a user group with them to really focus on how best can we assist students when it comes to multi-factor authentication, because it's not something that will disable. We're gonna leave it enable, but we'll need to put enough effort in reducing frustration from our students. So why do we want to continue with this multi-factor authentication? It's because it provides increased security. It protects against identity or credential theft that we have been seeing. It takes away password risk. Password, as I said, you can, even if you've got a strong password, after a while, someone can put some keystroke listener, and then before you know it, he knows your password, and then will be able to authenticate and log in as yourself. And then it also enables strong authentication. So that's the reason why we said some of the reason why we're saying we're gonna leave MFA, multi-factor authentication, as a control. Colleagues, I just want to talk to you about social engineering. I don't think there is it will be more at high level. I had opportunity to work in intelligence, the then National Intelligence Agency, and me and my friend were sent to Carnegie Mellon for 6 weeks to be trained by FBI and the professors at on social engineering. But ever since we came back here in South Africa, I was social engineered. I lost 10,000. He was social. He's got a farm. They social engineer. He had a bull. He had a farm, so he had a bull. Then they social engineer him with his bull. They took his bull and it went to breed. He thought he's gonna get 130,000. He only realized when they bring the bull back that they really wanted to use it for breeding. And I'm saying this because here I am. I've been trained on social engineering for 6 weeks, but I was caught. So this thing, it's because it plays with your trust. I'm just trying to give you some heads up that be careful, colleagues. This thing is serious. It's a technique that you might not pick it up until you have lost money. So, but what is social engineering? Social engineering is a manipulate people in performing action or divulge confidential information. How does it happen? It can happen in person. In my case, it was in person. It can be email. It can be through the phone. It could be through the postal mail. So I think what lots of the social engineering we are seeing here at UNISA is through email, but we have also seen some that come through telephone. People phone you and say, hey, I'm with the VC here, and the VC said I've asked me to ask you to send me this information. That's social engineering. How do you know you are being social engineered? In most cases, there will be a lack of business credential or identification. The person will be making small mistakes. When I was running my business, I was nearly caught up, but the way I've picked it up is the small mistake the person was doing. And the third one is trying too hard to sound more convincing. We always, you know, and the last one is rushing. This one has also helped me. About a month ago, a guy phoned me and saying he has realized that I've got, sorry, let me go. He has realized that I've got too many points on my FNB, my rewards on my FNB. He wants to help me in translating those points into money. And he caught me in between events. But and then the only time I realized that this could be social engineering, it's when he started asking me about the cards. And those, remember, is the red flags I've put, that anyone asks me about my card number, I must just step back. And then when he asked me about the card number, and I had the card number in my hand, and I told him, no, okay, I'll give you my card number when I get home. And then he said, what time are you going to be home? As he said, in an hour's time. And then when I get home, I went into the website, check if you convert your reward points into cash, and I realized, no, you can't. And then he phoned me. And then as he was talking to me, I was playing delaying tactics, and he started losing patience. That's when I realized, no, this thing it's a problem. So it's those kind of things. So what I'm trying to say to you, colleagues, is anyone that start asking you about your student number, anyone that start asking you about the courses you are doing, just be skeptical. Don't be too quick to provide information to those kind of people. There could be people that are really preying on our students. We've got a lot of those people that are saying they will help you with your assignment, they will help you with the solution for the exams, they will help you with so many things. Please, colleagues, be careful about those kind of things. Because we are seeing a lot of students going through disciplinary hearing because of those kind of things. And we are saying, as the university, we need to also help our students with this kind of awareness, so that they do not fall prey to those kind of schemes. And we as ICT, we are worried about the information the students are providing on social media platforms. So we are saying on social media platform, be careful of giving away the courses you are doing, be careful giving away your student numbers, be careful giving away your ID numbers. Be careful of those kind of things, colleagues. You might be compromising yourself. How to protect yourself against social engineering? Verify with the, okay, maybe this one might not be applicable to you, but always request identification and credential. Closely monitor and observe the person, emails, phone, links, etc. In this case, it's when you go to this social media platform, be careful, colleagues, because remember, those platforms are for public. So even if I'm not a student, but I can enroll in those platform, and then make sure that I'm part of that group. I've got the cell phone numbers of the students that are in that particular platform, so I can start using those phones to send to advance my intention of doing my things that are not for the business of UNISA. I can start advancing my own interest using those cell phones, because I've got them. I'm part of the group. I can download them. So be careful of when you enroll in this collaboration side. Yes. do not reveal any information, is what I've been saying. If the person contact cannot be verified, do not give out information. Remember, colleagues, we are giving you data on monthly basis, and some people they see that data as very important to them, and they can actually do business from that data that we are giving you. I'm just thinking if I can have data for 10 students from UNISA, I can do so much with that data. I can do so much with that data. So, but the student will be suffering because they will not have data for that month. They will not have. They will not submit assignment. They will not participate in the program of UNISA. So how do you know, colleagues? Now I'm just going into some of the tips that we can share with you. How do you know that your computer is compromised? There are a number of things you can start noticing if your computer has been compromised or your phone has been compromised or any endpoint device has been compromised. One, the antivirus software detects the problem. You just see these pop-ups. Sometimes the disk start running unexpectedly, or more pop-ups start appearing. Sometimes you see files transaction appear that should not be there. Sometimes you will just see the mouse start running on its own. Then those are some of the signs that your computer or your device has been compromised. So the best practice for that, I might be repeating some of them, is do not open suspicious attachments. You know, when someone sent an attachment and say to you, you won a lotto, or you have been selected as one of the people that needs to get to win the Toyota Cross. Click on this to see more information, and you click. You might be activating a malware. Do not follow links. Sometimes, you know, they send you links, you follow the links, and they start asking, put information. You put in, you provide information there, and before you know it, you have given your information to the wrong people. One of the things that we are seeing, they said, no, you have subscribed to this particular article or whatever, because remember, as you do remember my first slide saying the cyber criminals are always on the cyberspace seeing what you are doing. So based on the artificial intelligence, they know that you like shopping online. I'm just giving an example. And they send you a link saying you have subscribed to Shin, for you to unsubscribe from getting information from Shin. Please click on this link, and you click, you activate a malware. So what we are saying is, do not attempt to unsubscribe. If you know that you are not in the Shin website and you have not subscribed, do not unsubscribe because you have not subscribed. Don't use email. You know, we're going to give you UNISA email or from my life. Please, when you go to the social media on Facebook, on LinkedIn, please use your private emails. Do not use UNISA email, because if you go there, you use this UNISA email, already when you live there and I'm a cyber criminal, I've got your student, I know what is your student number. Because by now, the cyber criminals that are targeting UNISA students, they know the standard we are using to give student username. So if you go to this platform and use your student number, your email that has been provided by UNISA to conduct business on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and the cyber criminal, because they have been watching what you are doing, they will know you are a student of UNISA and this is your student number. once they've got that information, they can actually start getting more information about you. So our advice here is when you do private business on the on the cyberspace, use your Gmail account, use your Hotmail account. Do not use your user email because you might be compromising yourself. So always lock your workstation when you stay away. So if you are using your phone and then you are in the library, you are studying, when you go and have some water, or when you go to the ladies or to the gents, take your phone with you. If it's a computer you are having, please lock that computer so that someone cannot just come in and start processing. So those are very important behaviors that you need to make sure that you always try and adhere to. Then why strong passwords? I know that we are saying password is not the alpha and the omega, but as I've said to you, that the second highest attack we are seeing from the Security Operational Center that we have implemented is brute force. So you really need to use strong passwords, and it will just delay the attack. It might take them long, but now that we've got MFA, then you've got two strong, if you use strong password and MFA, the chances are you might just discourage them from even attempting. And never share your password with others. Change your password regularly. I think here we have in our system force students to change the password every 30 days. It's purely we are doing that as part of the enhancement of information security controls and to reduce the number of students that were hacked that we have seen. How to protect your portable device. Don't leave it unattended. This could be your phone. This could be your tablet. This could be your laptop. Avoid connecting to free wireless. We realize, I know that this is something that is easy for people that are working to say avoid free wireless, but as a student who doesn't have the means, when you see a free wireless, it looks attractive to you because you do not have the means. But we are saying that's where a lot of these attack emanate, because free wireless is not protected. So anyone can go there, and cyber criminals, that way they put their malware, and then you go there, you pick up this malware. So what we are saying is, if you connect to a free wireless, avoid doing confidential transactions. And confidential transaction here, it could be do not go and process payment from your bank. Do not go there and register for courses in UNISA. Do not go there and process payment to UNISA because you'll never know who is watching, because it's a free wireless. Those kind of things, when you log into them, be careful what you are doing there. When I log onto the free wireless when I'm traveling, I normally go there just to check the news, but I'll never go there to transact, because I know they are dangerous. Do not download free apps from unknown sources. You might be downloading a malware or a Trojan horse. Once you've got it here on your computer or installed on your computer, it starts sending information to the owner of that Trojan, that horse. It starts saving the master. Whatever you do, it sends to the master, and you wonder why these people know so much about you. Is because of this free app that you found on a free wireless that you have downloaded. It actually it has what we call a Trojan horse. It's a software that has got a backdoor. As you are doing transacting or doing something on your phone, it keep on collecting information, send it to the owner of that particular software. So the other thing which I just want to be touch base with you colleagues here, and I'm aiming to wrap up in 5 minutes so that I can ask a question. It's be careful of what you put in your dustbin. I've done this. I've tried this thing within my complex where I'm staying. Sometimes I just walk around and see what are people throwing in the dustbin, and you'll be surprised. There are a lot of things that I found. Some of them I found the USB, and then when I play those USB, it was the music. And I've got Brian Adams waking up the neighbors. Where did I get it? I got it from the dustbin. And I'm playing it. So I'm just trying to show you that when you are throwing stuff away, be careful. When you've got letters that you want to discard, I normally cut them because they've got physical address. Some of them, they might be having my ID. Some of them might be having, even if they don't have my bank accounts, but they will be coming from the bank saying, this is the bank address that emailed to me. So when a person get that from the dustbin, knows that I've got an account with the FNB, I've got an account with NetBank. I'm just giving an example, and then he's got the initial information to start finding more information about me. So I'm saying, be careful, colleagues, what you throw in the bin. We have seen some of the loan application forms, and if you know when you're applying for a loan, what kind of information you provide there. Once I've got that information or the application form, I know everything about it. We have even found copies of identification, copy of your ID. I mean, if I've got your signature on the loan application form, I've got your copy of your ID. I've got everything. I can just go and open account on your behalf, or as you, but not being you. And then everything comes to you. Once I've created all this, that they come to you for you'll have to go and service them. So we are saying, I'm saying, be careful of what you throw in the bin. That could be some of the things that are compromising you as a student. I want to just touch on, this will be my last slide. There is what we call the dark web. That's where stolen information is being sold. And I'll just touch few that affect you as a student. One is if your personal information has been exposed or stolen, it can be sold at the dark web. I'm not sure if colleagues, you know what is the dark web. Dark web is those websites where to get to them, you need a special browser to get to them. But the criminal knows that once they've got your information, they go and sell it there. Other criminal will come and buy that information and start doing fraud. So if I've got a personal information and your stolen personal information, e.g. your security number, your birth certificate, your student number, and other things, I can use those to impersonate you as an individual and opening accounts for you. In fact, this has happened to me. I remember in 2014, I was in Sun City and I got a call from Mr. Price store at the Glen. The lady phoned me, said, hey, we've got someone here who was buying perfume for 3,000. And he's calling himself John Rapila, but if you do not come, we're going to release him because we want the real John Rapila to come here. And then I had to drive from Sun City to the Glen, and this guy, when he found that, he's got everything, my ID, everything, my physical address, my postal address. The only difference was the photo on my ID. It was not mine. So what I'm trying to say to you, colleagues, do not underestimate these things, thinking that we are just talking. These things happen. People lose money. people are sitting with accounts where you've got to go to police station, do affidavit and saying, I did not open this account. Why? Because their personal information was exposed and someone else started using them to do. And we have seen here students as well coming to us about this and saying, no, I have never done this thing, but why is my cell phone number changed? I've never changed my cell phone number, but it has been changed and I'm not getting those kind of things happen, colleagues. Let me see what else can I talk about here. On the reputational damage, it doesn't really, espionage is not, financial loss is what I've been talking about. That, and remember when I was talking about do not process your information on a free Wi-Fi. This could be, criminal could be having keystroke software there, capturing your account number, capturing your PIN, capturing everything. Immediately you leave on that free Wi-Fi, they've got all your information. They can start transacting on your account, or they can even take over your account. Or yeah, they can do so many things on your account. So we are saying be careful of those things. And I know that I'm talking about accounts, but these are related to some of the issues we have seen. We have been dealing with a case where they are saying a student said, I was supposed to get a refund. The university has refunded the student, but it went into a wrong account. And that account that it went to, it was not owned by the student. The question is, how did this person know that the student is about to get a refund? So all of what I'm saying, colleagues, is do not take things for granted. Everything is possible. We have seen a lot. There is the cyber crime, cyber criminal is real. Please look after yourself. Chair, this was my last slide. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rapela, for really highlighting the critical information, the risks associated with exposing ourselves and our profiles, our information, you know, and we really appreciate it. And I think as I see students also appreciating with applauses, that this is very important for all of the students. It's important for all of us as staff members, but I also feel that students will also benefit a lot more because they can share the information with the rest of their family members or in their circles to better protect ourselves from these criminal activities. I have just two questions. I think I would be asking on behalf of the students, and there's one more that is in the chat. You talked about using strong password. I would like you to just maybe assist all of us in terms of just maybe giving us some ideas of what a strong password could look like. Secondly, sometimes we log in and out of our devices so many times in a day, and we get tempted to click on that link or button that says remember password. If you'd like to also just touch on that, because I suppose we're just too busy to be putting in our password 20 times every day, every time you are logged out of your device. Just maybe touch on those two, and then I will come back with the last question. If you could just take 2 minutes, and we can take the last question afterwards. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. The strong password we are talking about is, I think the minimum in terms of the best practice is talking about a minimum of, I think it's 12 characters, and it needs to be a combination of characters, digit, and special characters. So you will not have a password with just characters. It needs to be characters plus special characters plus numbers, and it needs to be a minimum of, in terms of best practice, a minimum of 12 characters. Remembering password, I mean, that one, it's a big, basically what we have done is you will authenticate once, and then for the second time, you just want the computer when you come back to log it in. Basically what you have done there, you have collapsed the security, the authentication controls that the university has implemented. It is not recommended, and that is why the banks, when you log in and then you are inactive for say 3 minutes, they deactivate, they lock you out because they help you to protect your information. So I think even as we need to start considering something like that. If a student gets into one of our system and the session is inactive for a protracted period of time, we should actually be locking the student out. But to answer your question, once you start doing that, saying remember the password or the authentication, then you have basically compromised yourself, because if you go to get a cup of tea and you get to the station, you find your friend and you get into a chat for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, it means your computer is exposed for that 45 minutes. So those things, these controls are implemented to protect your information, to protect you from a cyber criminal. And we do know that security in itself could be inconvenience, but it needs to be balanced. And I wouldn't recommend that you click on remember a password, because you have just compromised yourself for the duration that you are not in front of your computer. We can also provide you, Mr. Rachidi, with the standard that we are using, that we have activated for strong password on our system. We do have that standard. I'll share it with you so that in future, when students ask about what is the strong password, you can actually tell them it is clearly stipulated when we say strong password, what do we mean? We've got that in the policy. I'll just make an extract and send to you, Mr. Rachidi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I see we only have a minute or so to wrap up. There are 2 questions in the chat. I'm going to just read them out for you, but I would like you and the colleagues to maybe respond to them directly in the chat for the benefit of the rest of the students, about the fact that how do we know that the emails that we get or the links that are sent to us from UNISA are actually from UNISA? What are some of the features that the students can look out for in order to just verify that the emails they're getting in their My Life accounts are indeed from UNISA? And again, the question related to the question I raised about whether it is safe to back up your passwords with Google. So yeah, we have already addressed that one. Let us not do so, because otherwise anyone else having access to your device might be able to easily just get in. So I'm going to leave it here, colleagues, and thank you very much. We really appreciate your coming through, sharing with us this critical information. We are looking forward to future engagements. We will organize other sessions where students will be able to get more information and ways and means to secure their identity and profile on the online spaces. Thank you very much, colleagues. Let us join the next session. It's starting in a minute from Student Communication Services Center.
Thank you.